years. Next.
We're not hearing you, Jeff.
Anniversary.
Oh.
Of the March on Set. Right. And if you've seen the movie, then there's a movie.
We're not hearing you, Jeff.
Okay, I got it.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory. 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 Oh, glory.
Glory. Hands to the heaven, no man, no weapon formed against yes, glory is destined. Every day women and men become legends. The sins that go against us can become a blessing. The movement is a rhythm to us. Freedom's like religion to us. Justice is just a position for us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son dies, his spirit is revisiting us. True and living in us. Resistant is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. And when it go down, we woman and man up. They say stay down, but we stand up. Shots, we're on the ground. The camera pans up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory. 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 Oh, glory. Glory. Now the war isn't over. Victory isn't won. But we'll fight on to the finish. Then when it's all done, we'll cry glory. Ooh, glory. We'll cry glory. Ooh, glory.
A psalm is now for every man, woman, and child. Even Jesus got his crown in front of the crowd. They march with the torch. We're gonna run with it now. Never look back. We done gone hundreds of miles. From dark roads, he rose to become a hero. Facing the League of Justice, his power was a people. The enemy is lethal. King became regal. Saw the face of Jim Crow under a bald eagle. The biggest weapon is to stay peaceful. We sing. Our music is a cut that we bleed through. Somewhere in the dream he had an epiphany. Right now, we right the wrong throughout history. No one can win the war individually. It takes the wisdom of the elders and young people's energy. Welcome to the story we call victory, the coming of the Lord. My eyes have seen the glory.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Oh, glory. 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 Oh, glory. Glory. Oh, glory. 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 When the war is won, when it's all said and done, we'll cry glory. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, one day.
I see.
Yeah, I see. Oh,
Wow, that was absolutely, absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
I seek the permission of an elder to speak and to host today's worship service.
Come forward, Brother Malik. Let the spirit flow.
Uncle Johnson, thank you, Minister Martin. See, now, because of Minister Imhotep, I'm trying to get that clicking sound. Makalisi, Ozo Sawande, our missionary leader. Uncle Jobson, Neb family, Uncle Jobson, Neb, what a beautiful opening to another absolutely amazing worship service that we have planned for you today. I want to start by thanking Baba Jeff. Now Philadelphia has a Dr. J, but Baba Jeff is our Dr. J because, his video presentations are just always presented with a surgical precision. And we appreciate you, brother, so much. I will say, family, I trust in, I'm your host, Baba Malik. I trust and pray that Amen Ra finds each of you and your families in excellent health and spirit. And what I want you to do this morning, as we always do, what I'm hosting, is just turn to your left and then to your right, and just greet your neighbor, your Zoom neighbor, with God to see you, because each of us are made in the image of our Creator God. So just say, God to see you.
God to see you.
God to see you. God to see you.
God to see.
God to see you.
God to see you. Beautiful, beautiful. I know that's kind of strange when we're all basically on mute,
God to see you.
but God to see you. God to see you. As I said, we have another absolutely amazing worship service planned for you today, filled with soul-stirring music and songs, uplifting prayers, informative and inspiring historical tributes. It's going to culminate with a message from Sacramento's very own Minister Alicia, Lovelady-Teasley. Now, last Sunday, the key word for for last Sunday's service was hot. And we all can agree it was a hot service brought on by the message of my fellow MIT Minister Sidney. But today's key word is queen. Queen. So keep that in mind. We're going to have a queen. We're going to have actually, I want to retract that. Today's key word is glory. Glory. We're going to have a glorious service. We're going to have a queen is going to be presenting a message that's going to be absolutely inspiring, all inspiring at the towards the end of our service. And so I'm excited. I know you're looking forward to that as well. Now, speaking of history, as you know, today I will say we don't celebrate Black history. Black history only has that month only has 28 days in it. We celebrate and live, more importantly, African world history. African world history, 24/7, 365. And don't forget, every Wednesday on Black Knowledge Matters at 5 p.m. Now, today in Black history, I always write some Black history facts down. Today in Black history, Marian Anderson. Marian Anderson was a renowned classical singer, and she was the first African-American to perform at the Metropolitan Opera. In fact, today is her birthday. So happy birthday, Marian Anderson. Today, February 27th in history, Charlotte Ray. She graduated from Howard Law School. She's the first African-American lawyer, according to this data that I have, in the US. And we also celebrate and acknowledge Anna Julia Cooper. She was a champion for the rights of Black women. But also, I just want to acknowledge Trayvon Martin. Yesterday marked 10 years after Trayvon Martin, left to go to a community grocery store to get some iced tea and some Skittles for his little brother. And he never returned home. And many say that was the start of the Black Lives Matter movement. So let's just keep Trayvon Martin and his parents in our thoughts and prayers today. Now, without any further ado, I want to read what we believe, what we practice. What we believe, what we practice. Wolsey Community Church is a community of the way. The way is mocked, truth, justice, and righteousness. We believe the teachings of our elders and our ancestors that the Creator God created the universe and all life and has placed in each of us a part of the divine spirit. God living in us and through us has given us the right and the power to establish peace and justice in all human life, in true harmony with all of creation. We believe in the living faith of our ancestors. Our way is not merely ritual or belief. Our way is a way of life. Excuse me. Our way is not a random path. Our way begins with coherent understanding. It is a way that aims at preserving knowledge of who we are. It is with this conviction that we study the rich heritage of our African people. The way knows no oppression. Our way creates. Our way worships and praises the God of our ancestors. The way is life. The way only destroys destruction. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Ashe. Thank you so much, Mama Ngina, for leading us in that prayer. And for those who uttered their prayers out loud, our Queen, warrior sister, Mama Thadaway. I said today's service, the key word would be glory. And you, I'm sure all of you feel that glory and that power and that might that was shared with us in those prayers and the prayers that were uttered in the quiet recesses of our hearts. But before I call on Mama Fua and Minister Molly to lead us in the affirmation, I would be remiss because I failed to acknowledge those who have been given the custodial duties of raising and educating our children of Ile Omade. So I just wanted to acknowledge briefly Ile Omade and the staff under the direction of Baba Jahi and Mama Fanya and Mama Pam and Mama Kanke and Mama Ngina and the entire staff. I don't know the entire staff. I just want to thank you for what you're doing with our most precious resource, our children. So I just wanted to acknowledge Ile Omade. Now with our community affirmation, Mama Afua and Minister Molly, and then we'll have, we'll bring on the sounds of Ma'at.
Amen Ra Hotep to everyone. As we share our spirits and thoughts during this Sunday session, let us also give thanks to all that the Wose community provides for us. And let us share as much of our resources for the ongoing existence and activities of Wose. And with the Litany of Sacrifice, save us, O Holy One, by your name. Vindicate us by your might.
It is the Wose affirmation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were starting with the litany.
No, it's the affirmation.
Okay, we changed that around. I'm sorry. We will know God's truth to be free and self-determined.
Creator, help us to remember the humanity, glory, and suffering of our ancestors, and to honor the struggles of our elders.
Let us strive to bring new vision and light to our people. Let there be peace and harmony among us.
Let us be loving, sharing, and creative. Let us work, study, and listen so we may learn, teach, and cultivate self-reliance.
Grant us power, O Holy One, as we struggle to resurrect our hearts and our homeland.
We will raise our children according to the needs of our nation with discipline, patience, devotion, and courage. We will strive to be the living models of the new direction of our people.
We are an African people.
We are children of God. Ashe.
Yes. Ashe, Ashe, brother.
Ashe, 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 yo. Now, we'll say this, the service has been powerful, it's been passionate, it's been inspirational, but I think we all could use some upliftment. And we know that the sounds of my eye can do that because they bring funk in a spiritual way. So it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce the sounds of Mott.
Good morning, Well Say family. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, Bobby,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Can you see me? Because my our video just kind of disappeared for some
Yeah,
reason.
we can see you. It seems like you're in Kemet. You're in Kemet, right?
Yeah, we're there.
Okay.
Okay, I want to do one quick little sound check with you. After I press this button, let me know if you can still hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. That's what we needed. Okay, here we go. With this song, Mama Latrice is going to share with you. She almost didn't make it with us today. We had a little indulgence last night. She threw down on some chicken and waffles, and something in the recipe of the chicken made her break out and have a reaction for which she had to take Benadryl, and of course, that dries out your voice. But she's rising to the occasion. So here it comes. And this is about laying your burdens down. So with no further ado, here we go. 1, 2, we know what to do.
Lay it down, lay those heavy burdens down. If it don't serve you, let it go, just let it go. Lay it down, lay it down. You got permission to lay it down. Like Granny said, everything ain't for everybody. Mother will guide the way. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. You can surely stand on that. Lay it down, lay those heavy burdens down. If it don't serve you, let it go, just let it go. Lay it down, lay it down. Don't be afraid to let it go. Like Granddaddy said, never argue with a fool. From a distance, it's hard to tell just who is who. Lay down with dogs, end up with fleas. And you can surely stand on that. Lay it down, lay those heavy burdens down. If it don't serve you, let it go, just let it go. Lay it down, lay it down. Ancestors said to lay it down, bridge. You were meant for so much more, beloved. Your temple's a sacred altar. If love and respect ain't being served, then it's time to walk out the door. Lay it down, lay those heavy burdens down. If it don't serve you, let it go, just let it go. Lay it down, lay it down. Ancestors said to lay it down, chorus. Lay it down, lay those heavy burdens down. If it don't serve you, let it go, just let it go. Lay it down, lay it down. Don't be afraid to let it go. Lay it down, lay those heavy burdens down. If it don't serve you, let it go, just let it go. Lay it down, lay it down. The time has come to lay it down.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Yo, let's give him a black hand, family. Give him a black hand. Thank you so much for that beautiful music, Baba David. We pray that your queen will be feeling much better and back on her feet. But we enjoy her whether she is live or on a video recording. We thank you for sharing that. There were some messages in the chat about if you can increase the volume slightly.
Of her vocal or of the overall?
I think overall.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
And also, so thank you so much for that. That was beautiful. Also, it was brought to my attention in the chat when I was doing this day in African world history. That yesterday, the city of Oakland celebrated, I think it was the second anniversary of a second annual Oscar Grant Day. Oscar Grant, I know many of you are familiar with Oscar Grant, the tragic story on New Year's Eve on an Oakland BART, at an Oakland BART station, and being tragically, accidentally on purpose, while laying face down and handcuffed, shot in the back and killed. So I wanted to also, acknowledge Oscar Grant and Oscar Grant's family. And yesterday, the city of Oakland celebrated Oscar Grant Day. Thank you, Mama Fool, for sharing that in the chat. Now, it's time for our historical tribute. And it is my pleasure to introduce our Queen Warrior sister. And I'm going to try to pronounce her name correctly myself. I have it written down somewhere. Sister Sarah Sawati. I hope I pronounced that correct. Did I do good? I get a passing grade? Thank you so much. We always look forward to hearing from your historical tributes. Come forth, Queen.
I present to you Pearl Primus.
Oh, earth. Oh, earth. You who embrace the bones of our ancestors, help me. Lend me your strength. Help me welcome my guest.
This will be a brief presentation covering a very powerful artist. Pearl was born in Port of Spain, Trinidad. Her grandfather was head drummer of the island, one of the greatest African priests and Orishas who traced his heritage back to an Ashanti king of Ghana. This is the power of Pearl Primus. When she was 2 years old, the family moved to New York City. At the age of 21, Pearl graduated from Hunter College with a BA degree in biology and pre-med with the intention of becoming a doctor. She knew no boundaries. However, because of racism, she was unable to find a technical job to pay for medical school. She worked many jobs and ended up at the National Youth Administration making $22.50 a month as a dancer, even performing at the World's Fair. Her athletic prowess made her an outstanding dancer, almost instinctive. Based on her sheer power, speed, and spontaneity, as the National Youth Administration dissolved, Pearl joined the new dance group. Dance is a weapon. This is where Pearl learned principles of movement, composition, and staging, and also developed a greater awareness of strategic actions for social change. She also met many well-known African American and white dancers. The instructor at the new dance group, Belle Rosette, is the treasure of Trinidad. She taught Catherine Denham, Jeffrey Holder, and Pearl Primus. With a background in opera, Asadata de Fora from Sierra Leone portrayed dancers as serious concert performers by creating dance dramas and dance operas. Catherine Denham became an anthropologist to increase her understanding of Caribbean culture and capture the imagination of popular culture. She conducted academic research on dance, music, art, and rituals of Black culture. Maudel Bass was performing as a solo concert dancer. She and Pearl spent hours discussing dance in the early 1940s. In 3 short years of dance, Pearl received the Dance Laurel Award. It's an award that was traditionally given to white Broadway dancers. In a time when primitive and Black dance were labels for her work, Pearl's receipt of this award established her as one of the leading modern dance performers and choreographers of the time. She also performed at Carnegie Hall with Asadata Defora and was still focused on her education. She became a candidate for a master's degree in psychology. Strange Fruit was one of her first dances of social protest.
Southern trees bear a strange fruit. Blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze.
Pearl finally accepted that dancing would be her healing medium, that she would be a doctor to heal stricken humanity in another way. Dance is the fist with which I fight the sickening ignorance of prejudice. I cannot imagine the level of commitment it took for Pearl to spend an entire summer picking cotton as a migrant worker in the South. Dinner every night was fatback and corn pone. It took months for her to recover, but she was inspired. Pearl found Africa in the South, the voice of the drum in the throat of the preacher, the dynamic sweep of movement through space in the motions of the minister were so characteristic of Africa. She found in the sermons the crushing thunder dances of Africa. She found rhythms, patterns, incantations, and song all allied to African culture. Though Pearl has many famous compositions, I have only chosen a select few to illustrate her genius. The research she conducted for African ceremonial was exhaustive. Using books, journals, and diaries, she visited museums to study photographs, paintings, drawings, and sculpture. She even picked the memories of friends and colleagues. It was several years later that she decided to pursue a PhD in anthropology. She wanted the same shared African experience that her trip south had provided her. A trip to Africa was her deepest desire, to know the political, economic, and social life of a people in order to explain them to others. You can see the magic of her dance in this photo and the power. Finally, Pearl is going to Africa. She insisted on going alone and using only African guides. She saw the beauty and also the decline because of westernization in the African creative medium. She studied 30 major tribal groups and was accepted nearly everywhere and even initiated into the Sandy Secret Society in Liberia. She was called Little Fast Feet, and the drummers sent announcements across the land telling the next village that she was coming. This footage was shot by Pearl.
And though she films them for future reference, it is only when she joins in that she grasps the full meaning of dance.
This was a way for her to be there firsthand.
The dance is strong magic. The body can fly without wings. It can sing without voice. The dance is strong magic. The dance is life. Pearl was strong magic. We are strong magic. There is so much about Pearl that I have not included. These command performances are a testament to her prominence. Plus, I have included a reminder about how African Americans suffered during the McCarthy era. She also had to surrender her passport, just like so many others. Her second substantial visit to Africa was to take over the first ever African Center of the Performing Arts for the Liberian president. The past was to teach the present so that the future would know its heritage. The center was called Kanamakendi, and though it was dissolved in 2 years, this experience had a lasting effect on Pearl. In 1961, the African Carnival sounds like nothing I have ever seen. It was an African village with grass huts, stands of tropical trees, displays of African crafts and products, and the smell of African and Caribbean food. Audiences sat at small tables, free to eat and drink, as the dances of Africa, Trinidad, Cuba, and Haiti passed joyfully before their eyes. It was an extravaganza of unparalleled cultural showmanship. Can you imagine? This carnival inspired a foundation to send her back to Africa. This trip, Pearl was on a mission. She trained native dancers in each of those countries listed to participate in the performances, and then donated the proceeds to help establish a national dance company. She was helping Africans to realize the richness of their culture and to preserve it for sharing with others.
When Pearl introduced us to the Fanga, we studied and listened to the rhythms very closely because the music and the dance were very closely integrated. They were one.
I realized that I have shared little of Pearl's social life, her husband's, her son, and so much about other dances that she performed and dancers she mentored and inspired. This powerful warrior woman was here to remind us of how important dance is to us as a people. Dance is strong magic. Thank you.
Ashe, Asheo. We'll say, unmute yourself and let's give another powerful warrior queen a black hand.
Ashe, Ashe.
Thank you.
Okay. That was an absolutely powerful and beautiful and inspirational historical tribute. We are so blessed in this community. There's so many gifted people who join this service every Sunday, week in and week out. And we're so blessed. I don't know where else you can get a PBS or a CNN type of documentary while you are in a worship service, but right here we'll say it's commonplace. We thank you so much for that beautiful historical tribute. Now it's time for another song from the Sounds of My Aunt, Baba David, Mama Latrice.
David, you're on mute if you're saying anything, and also know that we cannot see you.
Does anyone see Baba David on their screen?
So can you hear me now right now?
Yeah, we can hear you,
but we don't see it. We can hear you, but we don't see a picture, David.
Yeah, we don't know why our picture went away. I'm gonna hit stop video and then start video, and maybe it'll restart our video. There we go.
There you
can
are.
You see us
there
now?
you are. There you are. Yes.
All right. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, here we
can
go.
you increase the volume, David, a little bit?
Did that increase the volume?
Slightly more.
How about that?
Community, is that loud enough for you?
Does that work for family?
Let's go up 2 more notches, just to be safe.
Is that better?
Yes.
We won't know until you're singing.
All right. Well, here we go. Mama Latrice, take it away.
I don't think they can see me. This life can be so lonely if you do not grow yourself. You must maintain.
No, we're not hearing Latrice.
They can't hear me. Life to me, love, love, love me. Highest vibration, flow in me.
Can you increase it any further, David? Just
they can't hear me.
not if you're not maxed out. But we can hear you, but it's low.
Grease is quite soft.
Oh boy. What happened? So tell me again what the issue is.
The volume is low.
Yeah, we're maxed out over here.
Okay. Let's go with that. Go with what you have.
Okay. Okay.
This life can be so lonely if you do not grow yourself. You must maintain your garden. Harmony and health become your greatest wealth. Speak life to me, love, love, love me. Highest vibration, grow with me. Exchanging energy. I've got to love me. I've got herbs in my garden. I've got fruit on my vine. Flowers bloom in ecstasy. Creator gave those seeds to me. Speak life to me, love, love, love me. Highest vibration, grow with me. Exchanging energy. I've got to love me. Speak life to me, love, love, love me. Highest vibration, grow with me. exchanging energy. I've got to love me. Speak life to me, love, love, love me. Highest vibration, grow with me. Exchanging energy. I've got to love me. Good in my garden, I prune and tend my mind. I prune and tend my garden. I prune and tend my mind. I prune and tend my garden. I prune and tend my mind. I prune and tend my garden. Prune and tend my mind. Prune and tend my garden. I prune and tend my mind. I prune and tend my garden. I prune and tend my mind. Prune and tend my garden. I prune and tend my mind. I prune and tend my garden. Prune and tend my mind.
So apologies for the technicals.
No apologies necessary, brother. We heard you. Whether your music is soft or loud, we appreciate you, and we always appreciate hearing from the sounds of my family. Let's give him a black hand. That was beautiful. I put into my mind, I put into my garden. Give him a black hand. Thank you. Thank you, sounds of mine. Okay. Excuse me. Now it's that time in our service that we all look forward to. It's the time in our service where we can, dig deep into our pockets and even deeper into our hearts and share what we have to share with our community. Our Litany of Sacrifice will be brought to us by Mama Fanya and MIT Bill. Litany of Sacrifice.
Amin Rahatep Rose. Again, as MIT Malik mentioned, this is a time where we give back. We give back to the community. We give back essentially to ourselves. We're giving back to ourselves and sharing what we have. I want to read passage number 8 from the book of Ani on page 57. Eat not bread while another stands by without extending your hand to him or her. As for food, it is always here. It is a man and woman who do not remain. A person may be rich or poor, but bread remains with those who share it. One who was rich last year may be a vagrant this year. Therefore, be not anxious to fill your belly without regard for others, for you know not where your course will lead. If you become needy, another may do good by you. On the screen, you see the addresses for Rose Oakland and Rose Sacramento. You can send in donations through snail mail or go to each website and use online payment methods. The Litany of Sacrifice. Save us, O Holy One, by your name. Vindicate us by your might. Hear my prayer, divine protector. Listen to the words of my mouth. How can we repay the Holy One for the gifts that have been given to us? We will lift up the cup of salvation and call upon the God of our ancestors. We will fulfill our vows to our Creator in the presence of all our people. Gladly, we bring our sacrifices to you. We praise your name, O Amun Ra, for it is good. Umoja, unity. We shall strive to maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race.
Kujichagulia, self-determination. We shall define, name, create, and speak for ourselves.
Ujima, collective work and responsibility. We shall build and maintain our communities together. Our brothers and sisters' problems shall be ours to solve together.
Ujima, cooperative economics. Together we shall build and maintain our own businesses and together profit from them.
Nia, purpose. We shall make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community and the restoration of our people to our traditional greatness.
Kuumba, creativity. We shall do as much as we can in any way we can to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited it.
Imani, faith. We will believe with all our hearts in our God, our people,
and the righteousness and victory of our struggle.
Ashe.
Oh, Holy One, we thank you for the offerings given today. We thank you for the people who contribute their time, their ingenuity, their creativity to make Wose happen. Please continue to bless us. Continue to shower us in your strength. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Thank you, Mama Fanya and MIT Bill, excuse me, for leading us in the Litany of Sacrifice. And as you all know, we have real life expenses and bills, and we appreciate what each member in this community is able to share. You give based upon what you're able to share. And whether it's large or small, it is all greatly appreciated. Now I don't know if you might need a break. I want to stretch a little bit, get your arms, and your legs, relax, because now, excuse me, it's the favorite time in our service, the time where we bring on a minister with a message. Now, this minister that I'm about to bring forth, she has a soft voice, but a strong presence and a strong message. She knows the 2000 season by heart. Trust me. She's a baby-faced assassin of Isfet, a minister of Ma'at, and a queen mother in the true sense of the word. And she's only 20. It is my pleasure and my absolute honor to bring forth our minister hailing from Sacramento, California, Minister Alicia Lovelady-Teasley. Unmute yourself and give her a black hand before we call on. Give our minister a black hand.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you. Wow. First and foremost, I'm so not 20. Wow. So that just gave me a laughter. I was kind of like, I don't want to say tense, but the message that the Most High has given me is a little intense for me. So thank you, Baba Malik. That just gave me a little laugh, kind of loosened me up a little. Am I able to share my screen? While I'm trying to get this together, I just, want to tell everybody, thank you for coming to Wose. This is so awesome, that everyone is here today. And I'm thankful for all of our times together, and the fact that we are, trying to get together and be one, that we are working forward, and that we are working forward in our movement. I'm liking the fact that we're having more people and that we are doing what is our job to do. So thank you. So I'm here today to give you this message that the Most High gave to me to give to you. And it was a little nervousing because I kept saying, God, this is what you want me to say? And I kept getting yes. And every time I would ask it a different way, I kept getting yes. So here I am. And this is the message for today. It is trying to be for real, seeking reality, loving the truth with all my heart and soul. So that is the title for today. Please bear with me. There is a lot of freedom writings, but I really feel like we need to all be on the same page, and we're gonna get on the same page. So Ephesians 6:11 through 18, put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always. In the Pert Im Heru, coming forth by day, number 42, it says, my hair is noon, my face is Ra, my eyes are Het Heru, my ears are Wepwawet, my nose is she who presides over her lotus leaf, my lips are Anpu, my molars are Selket, my incisors are Aset, the goddess, my arms are the ram, the lord of Mendes, my breast is Neith, lady of Sais, my back is Set, my phallus is Asar, my muscles are the lords of Karaha, my chest is he who is greatly majestic, my belly and my spine are Sekhmet, my buttocks are the eye of Heru, my thighs and my calves are Nut, my feet are Ptah, my fingers are Orion, my toes are the living Uri. There is no member of mine devoid of a God, and Tehuti is the protection of my flesh. In Stolen Legacy, page 105, chapter 6, under 4C, it says, the system of ethics belonged to the mystery system of Egypt, which required the neophytes in preparation for initiation to keep following 10 commandments, underlying which were 10 principles of virtue. The neophyte must control his thoughts, control his actions, have devotion of purpose, have faith in the ability of the master to teach him the truth, have faith in himself to assimilate the truth, have faith in himself to wield the truth, to be free from resentment under the experience of persecution, to be free from resentment under the experience of wrongdoing. Cultivate the ability to distinguish right from wrong, cultivate the ability to distinguish the real and unreal. Galatians 5:22, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, and against all things there is no law. In 2000 Seasons, which I do not have memorized, so don't ask me specific questions with specific page numbers, so yeah. Now, those of us who knew him remembered Isanusi again. We had not understood him then. Now experience had lent us clarity, and his words came back an echo to what we had lived to know. In 2000 Seasons, page 248 to 249, please, if you have that book and you're wanting to read more of this, please read 244 through 249. It'll give you a whole, a larger view, where it says, that is our destiny, to end destruction utterly. This should be the life work of spirits still open to the remembrance of the way. capable already of visions of rediscovery, willing, determined to make it a living way again. This life work. Its fruits should be the birth of new seers, other hearers, more numerous utterers, and the fruit of all our life work together, that should be destruction's destruction. As if he knew already, he spoke more than once of the danger of too rapid growth, of the acceptance of mere pretenders to our vocation. But it was not his habit ever to push his own doubts against important work. The time came at last when the only reasonable speech left was action. And then Hosea, page 33, it says, one who lessens falsehood encourages truth. One who supports good diminishes evil. And I have lyrics to a freedom song. It's not called Freedom Song, but since I had freedom writings and this is the song, I said Freedom Song. This is by Minister Makalisi. That this song in particular rings in my head ever since he sang it the first time. It just periodically comes and is there in my head. And it says 24/7, 365, doing all I can to make the principles live in the way I walk, in the way I talk, in the way I live, and in the love I give. To parents and elders, to my sisters and my brothers, and the self-determination that I show to all others. Trying to be for real. Be alive in me. Make us strong and free. Nguzo Saba, be alive in me. So I know that was a lot of writings and whatnot, but I want us to all kind of, when I'm talking, you'll be able to understand while I put that forward. I'm gonna try to keep this light, but you know, the Most High giving me so much and it's so heavy and so deep. So I can't really make any promises on that end, but I'm gonna try. And it is my prayer that you all, everyone grasp this on the level that it was given. So first, I wanna say thank you to everyone for all of the prayers and the upliftment for my father. He is a person who was never really sick. I don't remember him ever really having, you know, the flu or been down and not been able to go to work or something like that. And then he had gotten sick. And fast forward, he just came home last night. So I was so thankful for that, like super thankful. It's going to be a lot of work from here, but it was a lot of work before. So, but one thing I wanted to say was, the story I wanted to tell about that was that going up to the rehabilitation center to visit him daily was a beautiful thing. And I was glad to be able to provide transportation so that my mom could be there and so that I could also see my father. And we had to talk to a lot of people as we were there. And one person that we were able to talk to was his nutritionist. And so, and I want to say that I'm not in judgment of this man. I don't stand in judgment of him at all. I don't know him. I don't know what his struggles are. I don't know where he was versus where he is now. I'm just saying, I'm speaking about a dichotomy. I'm speaking about something that doesn't seem to go together. So I just want to preface what I'm going to say by saying that. As we walk up to the door and we ring the doorbell, and this man was coming out. I didn't know who he was, and I was telling the lady that we were leaving, and I mentioned my father's name, and so he said, "Oh, hello. I've been meaning to. I'm so glad I was able to talk to you," and he said, he introduced himself. I forgot what his name was. And he said he was my dad's nutritionist. And at first I didn't think anything of it, but as I was talking to him, my mind was like, nutritionist. This man is very, very tall, but he was also very, very overweight. And I was thinking to myself, how are you the nutritionist? those things in my mind didn't seem to go together. As I said, I'm not judging him. I'm thinking of things that are going together. It's like when you go up to a hospital, and this used to happen all the time before they banned certain things in front of the hospital. You'll go up to the hospital and the nurses would be sitting outside during their breaks smoking. Those things don't seem to go together. And I had read Queen Afua's book, books plural. And in one of her books, she mentions how how in the hospitals, you would go down to their cafeteria and you're quite easily able to get a nutritious food. This food is not nutritious and you're inside of a hospital, which should be the place of health and healing. However, they're serving the same things that got the people who are staying there in the first place. The same greasy burgers, the same pizza, all of those same things you can find in the cafeteria at probably any and every hospital. This is something that I'm trying to get us to understand, that those things do not go together. And right now, at this juncture, we are trying to be for real. When I was in college, the first person I met was a student named Chinieri. She's Igbo and from Nigeria. And she was one of those people that, of course, very, 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 very Christian. I was at a Christian college, so that was not a problem. And so something happened, right? So I thought it was a joke. And I was joking around with her with something I did. And she became furious with me. I was kidding because I didn't do what I was telling her that I did do, but I had a weird sense of humor. So I decided to tell her something that I did. And she was furious. She said, "You're not serious." She looked at my face and said, "You're not serious." And she walked away. And so when I talked to her about it, she said, "Well, if you call it," at that point, I was a Christian. I was at St. Paul Baptist Church. She said, "If you call yourself a Christian, you're not serious if you're doing that." And that kind of stuck in my mind, like, what your actions are should follow along with the reality of who you say you are. What your actions are should follow along to who it is you say you are. To align those things, trying to be for real. And it resonated with me because my parents were the same way. A lot of times growing up, I would hear at church, we would talk, the kids would talk and stuff like that. And I would hear other people and they would say, other kids, they would say, "Oh yeah, my mom or my dad, they do this and that. But they come here and they act so like they're so goody-goody, but I never had that really to say about my parents, because not that they were perfect people, because they're not perfect people, but they were people who were striving after a certain thing. They were trying to be for real. They called themselves a Christian. They lived the Christian life to the best of their ability. That was what they wanted to do. That was how they desired to live, as for them and their house, basically. So it was like, we were always in church. There was, we were at church on Sundays. We were at church on Wednesdays. We were at church on Saturdays. We were at church back again Sundays, and sometimes 2 times, sometimes 3 times, depending on what was going on in the church community. And even in the house, there was Bible studies. My father, up until the time that he went into the hospital, and he's 83 years old, was every night getting on his knees in prayer. And my mom kept trying to tell him, "James, you can't keep getting down there because it's very, very hard for you to get up." But he didn't listen up until the time that he went into the hospital, mind you, 83, nightly Every night, he would be on his knees in prayer, physical knees in prayer. This was my entire life. I don't remember that ever stopping. You know, he was always someone who prayed with us. He was always someone who would open the Bible. My mom, when disciplining us, I laugh to this day about these things. Okay, you know, whoopings hurt. But before she would give you a whooping, and this was so hard for us because as a kid, you know, you don't want to deal with any of that. But we would usually get a very long lecture. Key to that lecture was what thus saith the Lord. This is why you were wrong, because the Lord said this, you knew it, and you did different. So it was having the knowledge of what was right to do, of what God told you to do, and doing something different. Your physical movements were different than what you knew in your mind and your heart to be the right thing to do. Those would be the worst whoopings. So I'm thinking to myself, you know, I don't want to be a fat fitness guru, one of those people who was like, I'm a fitness guru, but outside, you know, I just like my burgers and my fries and my this and my that, but I want to tell you how to be fit. I want to tell you about fitness. I want to tell you about eating nutritious food. This is about trying to be for real. So when I was let's go through those scriptures that I was talking about earlier. So like the first one we were talking about, we have to understand we are in a war. This is our first thing. Understand that we are at war. If we don't understand what we are truly fighting, we are doomed to lose. We're over here fighting something when the true fight is somewhere else. And there's whole messages that could be done on that entire scripture, but I'm just going to zero in on the shield of faith. It said that the shield of faith extinguishes the fiery arrows, all the fiery arrows of the evil one. And then my mind goes to faith in truth, having the faith in truth, your ability to receive the truth and your ability to wield the truth. Now, wielding is to hold and use something. You're having faith in the ability to hold and wield and use the truth. Have you ever seen someone, maybe in a cartoon or some type of thing, who has a sword and a shield, and they're going into battle kind of timidly, like, and when something hits their shield, they drop their sword. That's how a lot of people are. They don't have faith in their ability to wield. They don't have faith in their ability to hold and use the truth. They have lack of knowledge of self. And so when you lack knowledge of self and you kind of don't know who you are and you're kind of this and you're kind of that, you haven't been through enough stuff to know the strength that resides within you, you drop your sword every time something hits your shield. Knowing yourself and having faith in the truth gives us courage to fight this war. And you can take that information on any level you want, whether you want to think of it on a spiritual level, whether you want to think of it on a physical level. The Persian says that there is no member of mine devoid of a God, and Tahuti is the protection of my flesh. For me, this is key because you're thinking of the fact that this body, like in a Christian religion, you would say, my body is a temple of God. My body is the temple of the Most High. This body here in this knowledge base, you would say, is the vehicle for the Most High, the vehicle for the Most High to do his work. Therefore, we have our hair, our incisors, our molars, all these things, our eyes, our arms, our toes, our fingertips to use in the service of the Most High. They're not devoid of a God. Nothing that we have is devoid of the Most High. And I'm going to let it sink in. We have to understand all parts of our being is the Most High. And once we come into that awareness, we understand the underlying power of which we have been given. We just don't know who we are. And when we're talking about cultivating the ability to distinguish the real from the unreal, it's kind of a look at situation. It's also a look at people. You're looking at the fruit of the Spirit as a guide, as a key, as something for you to research when you're looking at people. The fruit of the Spirit being love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And in the Hosea, it talks about the unrestrained man and woman, and that's not who we want to be. If you're a person who habitually lacks self-control, your character is not there. Something is going on. You're not following something that has to do with Ma'at. These are the fruit of the Spirit. My dad's best friend, he passed on, he's an ancestor right now, but my dad's best friend his name was Willie Coleman. And when I was a child, he sat me down and he went through the scripture with me. And that is one of the few things that I remember about him clearly. So I want us to also acknowledge in that moment that let's not devalue the little things that we do. Let's not devalue and say, oh, we have to do something big, or we have to do this, or we have to do that. Speaking to a young child about the Most High is not something that is lacking. We can say, oh, the youth of today, they're so lost. Guess what? Every generation says that. Every single one. The generation that became before your generation, when they look at your generation, they say, oh, they're so lost. The generation that was looking at you when you were coming up, they said the same thing. Oh, they're so lost. But when somebody took the time to feed into those children, guess what? Y'all sitting right here today. When somebody has said years ago that you was lost because of maybe the way you dressed, maybe the way you might have behaved in one certain point, maybe the way that you talked, or maybe the way that you carried yourself at that point in your life, or maybe the way they were generalizing people around you. They said, oh, that generation is lost. Oh, that person is lost. But guess what? You're sitting here listening at this point in this time today on Wose Community Church. You're not lost. So our generations that are coming up right now, if we think of them as being lost, then we're not delving into trying to, no, they're not lost. We need to guide them. We need to tell them this is the way. We need to give them information. That's what they need. Because when I was young, I may have did this or that. I wasn't a terrible child, but I was not a perfect child. I wasn't a terrible teenager. I didn't talk back to my mom. I tried one time and that was about it. She cut that out. That was done. There was no more of that. So people grow. And if people listen, they grow. If they have a solid foundation, they'll come back to what it was that you have taught them at the beginning. And I noticed that as a young age, how I did that myself, how my parents put down a very firm foundation of values. And as I was growing up in your crazy years, your teenage years, you girl, you lost your mind years, you kind of come out of that in your early mid-20s, and you kind of say, hey, what was that my mom was talking about? Hey, what was that my dad was talking about? Hey, what was that minister so-and-so was talking about? And like I gave as as from 2000 Seasons, it says, at that point in time, we couldn't hear what Isanusi was talking about. But after we were going through some experience, okay, now I understand. So sometimes the youth, they might not understand what you're talking about, but you still got to tell them. It's about trying to be for real. Because sometimes you have to experience those things before you understand them. You know, even at this age, sometimes we want to be hard-headed and we say, oh no, I don't want to do that. And somebody's saying you need to go that way. And say, oh no, but I kind of want to go this way. And Most High be telling me that sometimes. I'm like, oh, I want to go this way. I'm like, okay, you know, after a little bit of experience, okay, Messiah, I'm gonna go wherever it is that you're telling me that I should go. Because me going the opposite way just doesn't work. And how many times that I've had to do that, I'm not telling. My mom used to say the proof is in the pudding. When you're dealing with people, the proof is in the pudding. She would say everything comes out in the wash. When stuff gets shaken up, you're going to figure it out. You're going to find it out. When you're looking at people, that's how you could kind of assess, like, okay, so, and even when you're looking at yourself, you're looking at the fruits of the Spirit. Am I doing the right things? Am I going the right direction? Look at the fact that are you seeing love? Are you seeing joy? Are you seeing peace and kindness and goodness coming from that person, coming from yourself? You have to understand, we're trying to be for real. There's also that but that's also what us coming into knowledge of the stories of our ancestors are for. We need to be wise by seeing patterns when it comes to organizations, when it comes to us being an organization, when it comes to other organizations. We have to be wise because the devil does not change its tactics. We have to understand that the devil is beautiful to the eye. A lot of times when people say, oh, the devil, we want to think of the horns and the tail, and who would follow that? Nobody. But who follows the devil? The devil is beautiful to our eyes. And that's purposeful. Because the person who is out there seeking to big up themselves, a person who is out there seeking for all the fame and the glory and this car and this house, the devil can easily say, hey, I got that right here for you. All you need to do is this. Ooh, look at that power that you can have. Look at this that you can have. Your name can be in lights. And so what I'm saying with that is we have to be wise and we have to be careful. All these things were already done in the past with our organizations. You get so big that you don't know who's in your organization and you can get infiltrated. That's what they've been doing. And I didn't want to put forward this. I'm kind of nervous about this part, but it's your thought process of look at what they've done to the organizations that are on the map. Yes, we have their stories. Yes, we have this. And yes, we can take pride in the fact that Marcus Garvey had this organization with all these people in it. And yes, it made a very big impact. Now, you know, I love Marcus Garvey. I will always pour libation for Marcus Garvey. But there was somebody in his ranks that he thought he knew, and they stabbed him in the back and brought down the organization. You got people inside organizations sometimes that are not who they say they are. Are they exhibiting love? Are they exhibiting peace? Are they exhibiting gentleness and self-control and faithfulness? We have to keep our eyes open. Isanusi warned of too rapid of growth. I'm not saying that we should not grow. What I'm saying is what was successful in our history, the Underground Railroad. Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. And whether you are one of those people who believe or not believe, that story is very important to us. And I just want us to sit and I want us to meditate on that. Very successful. A very successful way to help us to reach freedom. That was something that wasn't destroyed from the inside. And also our concept of each one teach one. That was the concept of, if you were an enslaved person, and it was of course against the law to teach an enslaved person to read and write. But if you as an enslaved person somehow were taught to read and write, it was your responsibility to go and teach someone else for the freedom of the people, for the betterment of the people. That was your responsibility once you knew the truth. And so once we knew the truth, once we know how to read and write, it is our responsibility to go and teach someone else. It's not our responsibility to harbor information, to harbor skill, to harbor those things that we know. The information is given to us in order to share. I know how to read in order to teach my children how to read, and that's what I teach my children. This is partially the reason why you need to do well in school. I tell them, because one day your son or your daughter might come to you and they want to know this information, and they're not going to know it if you never know it. If you never become a good reader, where are they going to go? They're supposed to come to their father. They're supposed to come to their mother to learn and grow. Each one teach one. That process works for us. Just know what we do has an impact on the vibrations of this planet. And we have to be aware of that. We have to be aware of the things that we do and the vibrations that we keep, and work vibrational energy as well. We have to do that. We have to. The creation was created by heart, mind, and a declaration by the tongue. Your heart and your mind need to be connected. They need to be aligned. Once those things are aligned, the words and the vibrations that come out of your mouth are perfect peace. When your heart and your mind are aligned in Ma'at, the words that come out of your mouth are Ma'at. When your heart and your mind are aligned with Ma'at, everything that you produce is Ma'at. It's justice. It's righteous. It's balanced. It's harmonious. It's about aligning the heart and the mind. It's not this weird dichotomy of a fat nutritionist, of a heavenly smoked out nurse. That's having the heart and the mind and the hands all doing their separate thing. But when your mind and your heart are aligned to the way, that is a direction that you go. You have to understand the vibrations of this planet, raise your vibrations. And let me just talk quickly about that before I go about raising your vibrations. Understand that having a low vibration every once in a while, don't kill yourself about that. That's going to happen to everybody, because life is what life is. We're not in a field of roses and poppies. So sometimes you're going to feel bad. Sometimes you might feel angry. Sometimes you might feel hurt. Sometimes you might feel depressed, but you have to get yourself up out of that. You have to be able to raise your vibrations. Those negative vibes are there to be used to do something positive with. They're not there to wallow in. It's there to see our shadow selves. We can look at our shadow selves and do some work around that. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling some kind of way about this person being applauded and me sitting in the background? Why am I feeling some kind of way about that? Why? What is the purpose? That's called jealousy. Why am I feeling angry about someone else rising and doing good and I'm over here struggling? Why am I feeling angry about that? Because the good that you feel and the good that you put out towards others, all that stuff comes back to you if you're open to it. Because if we say we always talk about, oh, if we say we're one, do we really understand what oneness is? I keep trying to explain these things to you. If we are all one, if we fully understand, let's try to understand even on a higher level than before. If Most High is everywhere, Most High lives in me, Most High lives in you. If I do good to you, I'm doing good to myself. If I do bad to you, I'm doing bad to myself, period, point blank. Because guess what? We're one. Because Most High lives in you and Most High lives in me. And the reason why I can say that some of us don't get certain things is because we're still talking about certain things. Somebody might be harboring some anger from 5-10 years ago. You're going to have to either address the situation or let it go, because that's not of the way for us to be bickering over something that happened 5-10 years ago. All that stuff should have been taken care of 5-10 years ago. Guess what? Why? Because we are one. We got to walk down this road in the right way. We got to be for real. We cannot be fake. We cannot fence it. So either you're here or you're not. And if you're here, ain't nobody saying that you got to be perfect. We got to try to be for real. Try to seek the reality. Loving the truth with all our hearts and minds. And not be trying to fake the funk and be like, oh, I'm this and I'm that. And then you ain't prayed in 10 years. You ain't opened up your husia. You ain't followed anything. You ain't helped nobody. You don't know nothing about Nguzo Saba. You still fumbling over what is Kwanzaa. I don't want to be the one who spends all her time and energy fighting for the opportunity to meet with the president and diplomats while there are hungry children knocking at my door. I'm going to say that again. I don't want to be the one who spends all her time and her energy, all her talents and focus trying to get to the president for a meeting with the president or a meeting with the diplomats while there are hungry children knocking at my door, trying to be for real. What is the reality of what we say? And I don't want to be, and I'm going to say this, I don't want to be with the organization who's knocking at the door of the president. This is what I want. This is what, oh, we're trying to get the diplomats. Oh, this is what I want. This is what I want. And can't help nobody who's hungry. And that's why I'm here at WOSE. Our focus is that each one teach one. Our focus is to build the community. Our focus is the fact that we are praying for each other. We are thinking of each other. We are uplifting each other. The stories that I hear coming from WOSE of how how we surround each other with love and positivity on a personal level, not just here in Zoom, not just on Sundays at church. And see, that's what I'm talking about. That's the reality of who God's children are. I don't even really care what what some people say they believe. Are you doing the work? Are you doing God's work? Are you being there with people when they are hurting? Are you, if somebody is knocking at your door, they're knocking at your door. You don't even got to go out and look for the hungry. They're knocking at your door. And it's not always physical hunger why people are knocking at your door. So let's look at it on certain levels. It doesn't have to be this 3D level all the time, a 2D level all the time. Let's get our minds higher sometimes. People who knock at your door, people who come to you, people who you interact with, they're not always hungry for food. So we have to figure that out. We have to be there for them. We have to open up our mouths and say certain things. We have to exhibit peace to them, patience for them on a daily basis. Yeah, I could go out there and I'm a very private person. I can go out there and act however I want and nobody would really even know. But guess what? I'd know. Most High would know. It's called integrity. My kids would know. My husband would know. So we have to understand these things, because one who lessens falsehood encourages truth. One. And why does one who lessens falsehood encourages truth? They're dropping their egg in that side of truth. Every time I'm lessening the falsehood, I'm encouraging the truth. Every time I'm encouraging good, I'm diminishing evil. So when I place my mark on this side of the fence, on the Ma'at side of the fence, on the truth, justice, and righteousness side of the fence, I'm diminishing negativity. And that's why a lot of people are like, oh, you hate white people. No, I don't hate white people. I just love Black people. And that's hate. There's no hate here. I have a complete understanding of who people are. So there's no hate, there's just love. I love African people, and I love the mission that the Most High has given us to do. And I'm about supporting that mission. I'm about doing that mission on whatever small or big a scale as the Most High deems necessary for me to do. So that having been said, one who lessens falsehood encourages truth. One who encourages good diminishes evil. We'll say, and all of those who will be listening to this in the future time, let's uplift our vibration. Let's try to be for real. Let's try to be for real. Let's try to be for real. Ashe.
Ashe. Well, so take yourself off. Let's give our minister a black hand. Let her hear that we appreciated that message. That message was so powerful, so inspirational, so down to earth. I think that's why I personally love about Minister Alicia is that her messages are not esoteric. There's no secret or hidden messages in there. They're down to earth. And she doesn't just quote scripture. She's telling us about things that are relatable, down to earth. You know, your actions should be in alignment, trying to be for real. The shield of faith, you know, don't run, believe in yourself and stand in the glory of God. Nothing that we have is devoid of God. She talked about don't devalue the little things that we do. What was successful in our history, you know, make sure our heart and our minds are in alignment with Ma'at and raising our vibrations. And don't fake the funk. I mean, you can't go to too many churches and somebody, you know, can put that in a spiritual a sense where it's relatable and it's powerful. So Minister Alicia, the minister of Ma'at, thank you so much for that beautiful and powerful and inspirational message. We needed it. We heard you loud and clear. And let's give another black hand, we'll say family. Ashe, ashe, ashe-o. Now I'm going to bring forth my brother, minister in training, but wait, before we do that, because I know I'll forget if I don't say this right now. When we started the service, I said the key word was glory. We just heard a glorified, glorious, gloriful message. But I also want to acknowledge and honor anytime you have your professor who's a part of the audience, Professor Menu Apim. Just wanted to acknowledge that I saw his name amongst us. So, you know, would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the professor anytime he's in the house. And now at this time, if Minister Molly would come forth.
Uncle Job Chanel, once again, we have been treated to a very powerful message. At this time, if there are those who have heard this message, who have yet to join the movement, to become part of what it is to be real, this is your opportunity to join with this community. We offer and we open the doors to the church. It is a time that if you are moved by the Spirit, if you feel you want to be a part of this community which is engaged in this movement, come on down. You can raise your hand. You can step into the chat and signify that that is your interest and desire, or you can also just reach out, unmute yourself and say, here I am, select me. So this is your chance and your opportunity. If there is anyone today who would like to join and bring himself as a member of our community, it's your time.
Today and today only, we got a 2-for-1 sale. So 2 of you join, so you don't want to run out of that. So is there one? And this is not the last time that you can join this movement. And if there is one who does not want to, come forth at this time, put your information in the chat, and someone will reach out to you, back out to you. So I didn't see anyone who's come forth. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe everybody here is already a member, so tell a friend. And now, to lead us in our Black National Anthem. Now I have to acknowledge, I don't know if any of you saw, Minister Makalisi was exercising. He was doing squats and bench press, like he's getting ready for a prize fight. So I know that the song that he's going to lead us in, Lift Every Voice, is going to be strong and powerful, because he was getting ready throughout the service. That shows you how strong he is mentally, physically, spiritually. And so Minister Michael Lisa, we appreciate you. Would you lead us in Lift Every Voice and sing?
Ashe. I forgot to turn the camera off. I'm having some problems with the circulation in my legs, and I've given this direction by the doctor to do certain exercises. And when you get this feeling, when the negative feeling is coming on, then I have to make a move. But in that same light, to an extent, I was listening to Minister Malley and his extending the invitation and reflecting on what he shared with us a couple of weeks ago about prostate cancer reading, and it was up at upper levels. And then after some prayers and some changes, I guess, in his life, in his routine, he's down to the lower levels, and perhaps what the extreme treatment they thought he was going to need, he doesn't need that right now. And so just giving the thanks that the Most High is moving with us, in us, through us. And that message from Minister Alicia, whew, well, let me start, because I'll start trying to add on to that. So lift every voice and sing. Lift every voice and sing. We learned in a historical tribute a couple of weeks ago about the relationship, a little bit about the relationship between this song and Booker T. Washington. So I looked up some things, and I found Lift Every Voice and Sing started off as a poem written by James Weldon Johnson. And it was first recited in the year 1900 by the 500 school children who were students at the Stanton School, the all-Black Stanton School in Jacksonville, Florida, where Brother Johnson, who was a civil rights activist, a lawyer, was also the principal of this school. And so this poem was part of his—
Okay, be safe.
Was part of his introduction of Booker T. Washington to the school, who he was there visiting the school at that time. And so the 500 students recited this poem. And it was later on that it became a song when James Weldon Johnson's brother, John Rosamond Johnson, put the music together, and the song and the poem became a song. I found that to be very interesting and inspiring. Lift every voice and sing. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers and mothers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out of the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far along the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path, we pray, lest our feet, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee, lest our hearts stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. Lift every voice, lift every spirit, let every heart sing and live in this spirit.
Thank you. Let's give them it's okay to clap for the Black National Anthem, everybody. It's okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Michael Lacey. We're not gonna keep you too long because I know you probably want to do a few laps in the pool after this as well. All right, and we're definitely glad to hear about that news about our dear brother, Molly. So Molly, take it away.
Coming and thanking the ancestors who chose to honor us with their presence as we come together, knowing that there is an Almighty who looks down upon us and showers us with his praise and glory and his Holy Spirit. Having one voice, having one
voice,
people,
one people,
one heart,
one heart,
one love.
One love.
Coming all together to be together, one together, here and forevermore. Ashe, 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 Ashe. In the name of the one who has given us life. Amen Ra.
Amen Ra.
Amen.
Ashe.
Amen.
You are the most beautiful,
greatest people on the side of the earth.
Face of this earth. Ashe.
Ashe. You know, we can't close without saying that. We can't close service without saying that.